Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to some more of the Elder Scrolls Create-A-Sim, where I take the Divines and Daedric Princes from the Elder Scrolls stories and try to turn them into Sims. So in today's video, we are actually creating another one of the Divines, and it's actually a Divine that almost didn't happen for this series, because I didn't look into it a little bit more before I fully was going to make my decision, but thanks to my boyfriend, this ended up being created because he likes this Divine quite a bit, and he was very insistent that I created it. So, here you go. He's here, and after reading it, it's a good thing that I did actually continue to create him. I also kept all of his screenshots in versus taking some out, because I usually try to only do 10 to 12, and he has like 15 screenshots that I took. So just cause I realized I was wrong, if you're watching this, Brandon, there you go. There's extra screenshots of Talos. So Talos is very heavily mentioned in Skyrim. As you probably know if you've watched any of these other Elder Scrolls Create-A-Sims, Skyrim is the Elder Scrolls that I am most familiar with. I know a decent amount of Oblivion, and also somewhat about Morrowind. I know there's other ones out there. I also know there's the online series, but there still is a lot to the other ones that I don't know as much compared to Skyrim, because Skyrim's the only one that I have personally got to physically play. So, the way that it was presented to me when I played Skyrim, I thought Talos was mostly a Skyrim thing by, like, the Nordic people. So, part of me was going to exclude him because I was mainly focusing on the Divines that are made to be a big thing in the Daedric Princes. But, again, because my boyfriend was so insistent that I created Talos, when I started reading about Talos, I realized that he actually does play a bigger role, and he is considered one of the Divines in most situations, even outside of Skyrim. So yeah, creating Talos then. So Talos was technically mortal beforehand, and then was believed to be, after death, ascended to godlike status. Now, the theories and the beliefs of how he became that way, there are like two different ones out there, but the main one, which is the one in Skyrim that they talked about, is the fact that he was such a fierce warrior, he accomplished so much, he helped mortals, and did a whole lot in his mortal life, that the gods granted him god status, and he became one of the Divines that way. Now, the other one is believed that he acquired and sucked in so many dragon souls, hence why the dragons almost were extinct, that it turned him into a god. So, those are like the two that I read. If there's any others, I'm not quite aware of them, but those are the two that I read. The main one is the first one, especially when you're referencing like Skyrim and the Nords. But yeah, Talos is actually a huge part of Skyrim. Funnily enough also, technically the symbol on his stained glass is the dragon symbol for Skyrim. So technically I have Talos's stained glass symbol tattooed on my arm. So the fact that I was going to leave him out just keeps getting more and more ironic. So I am sorry, Talos, but you have made it in, so I hope that you are happy, Talos. And anyone who likes Talos. The thing about Talos is I always remember the one dude in Whiterun screaming about Talos. But yeah, in Skyrim, the whole war actually is over Talos. The, how do you say them? Aldmir, the High Elves, they don't really think of Talos as a divine. And because of another war, worshipping Talos was supposed to be banned. But a lot of people in Skyrim, because the Nords especially look up to Talos, did not like that, so the whole war started because worshipping Talos had been banned, and a lot of people did not like that. So, very, very influential person in Skyrim, but he did have technically other parts in the games or like mentionings and stuff. In some groups, even if they don't call them the 9 divines, they call them the 8 and the 1, with Talos being the 1 because they still recognize him as someone extremely important and of high status, but they don't necessarily consider him one of the high divines. But they still acknowledge his existence. But then, you know, you got the high elves who just don't like Talos. So, now as far as Talos's looks, I went more off of like the younger version look of him and not so much the stained glass look that I could see. The stained glass version has shorter hair, but the younger version, he actually has some longer hair. But I decided to go somewhere in between with the hair at least. I did go ahead and give him beard. I gave him scars because he is more of a war type person. Like, you know, he fought to combine the whole Tamriel with through the like empire and stuff like that, and you know, he was protecting. So I figured it was fitting that, you know, he has some battle scars on his face there. I do have armor, and like a big thing for me when I seen pictures of him was the cape, so I had to make sure that I put a cape on somewhere there. And I do give him a necklace, though you barely can see it. I think it has like it may be a cross, but you know, I was just looking at it as a general religious symbol because of he was basically sort of a warrior for the Divines and then was looked upon so greatly by the Divines. He was originally, like, I think his immortal name may have been Tiber Septim, if I remember reading correctly. And he's even referenced, Tiber Septim is referenced with some of the other Divines, like he had contact with them. So, you know, whether in the lore of Elder Scrolls, whether these people fully worship him or believe him as, like, something special, he still is at least up there, no matter what. So, with the lore and stuff that comes through. But anyway, I hope you like how Talos turned out. I'm actually pretty happy with Talos and how he looks. So I'm actually glad, in between other reasons of finding out, you know, he has more of a bigger role in more than just Skyrim. But also, you know, I actually really like how this sim turned out, so I was really happy with it. He's definitely up there amongst the Divines. Is he like the top 2 or 3? No, I don't think so. He's probably like 4 or 5. I really like how Julianos turned out, Dibala, and Kinnereth. Those are probably my top 3. Talos is probably 4. So yeah, but I was still really happy with how he turned out. I think the armor that I had for him looked nice, and luckily the cape fit with it, so that was all good and dandy. But if you like how Talos turned out, hit that like button. I may have already said that, but I'm going to say it again, because I forget that quickly if I said it. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on future Elder Scrolls casts. By the time this one's coming out, there's only 1 more Divine and 2 more Daedric Princes, I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, because I'm trying to do the Divines in alphabetical order and then the Daedric Princes in alphabetical order, so I know there is only 1 Divine after this, and I think the way that it's going to fall, it's 2 Daedric Princes after this. Yeah, it's getting close to the end, but there is another Create a Sim series coming right after this, so definitely keep your eye out for that, and there's other things here on the channel to enjoy. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!